And what's happening, folks? Welcome along to another episode of 420 News. Just gonna fix me camera around there. That's a little bit better. We move this one over a bit more. Boom. Now we're laughing. What's happening, guys? Welcome along. It is Monday. Hope everybody survived the weekend. Even though I was chatting with you in the middle of the weekend there on Saturday. Hope everybody had a good Saturday afterwards. But yes, we are back here on this fine and wonderful Monday. Oh shit, I must fix the colour of the text. That's Alexa's fault. I want to blame Alexis. Changed the colour of the font to suit the stream there the other night, but now I gotta switch it back to black. Yes, like Amy Winehouse's decent song, Back to Black. Test it out there, guys. Slap in a few comments and let's see how it reads there in the new hotbox. But welcome. I see lots of your comments anyway out there in the stream panel. So nice one. Keep them coming in. We'll pack up an old bowl. We get ready for a little bit of civil disobedience here on the show. And then we'll get through to your comments there in a couple of seconds. Oh no, I just spilled some bong water. No. Good thing I got tissue. Or do I? Yes, I do. Grinder. I know I'm not talking about the app. I'm actually on about my grinder. Yeah, so what's happening? I see John Finnegan is out in the audience. What's happening? Teresa's in the audience. Kieran, Pods4420. Toto's out there. Peter Kelly. What's happening, guys? Casa Destrogas. What's going on, Casa? Hopefully you're having a fine and wonderful 420 wherever you are in the world. I don't know where you might be. Last time we chatted, I think you were over in the beautiful Spanish Isles. But be curious to know where you are today. But hopefully it's good no matter where it is. Oh yes, we got a bowl of civil disobedience packed. Shout out to everybody else in the audience. Jim Macon is out there. Hype. Mark Andrew, what's going on, Mark? We've John O'Dowd in the audience. The R420s. Scanist. JW Hillpower. SMG. Oisin Moore. What's happening, Oisin Moore, over there on Twitch? Oisin Moore says, thoughts on Donnelly essentially putting kids on house arrest. Yeah, it's kind of nice. My old Al was on about it there earlier, and she was on about the fact that Donnelly was on about, that, oh yeah, it's alright for you to go to the pantomime, but don't bring your kids, that you're not allowed to bring your kids. It's like, what's the point if you can't bring your kids? Like, what are we going to do? Like bring her, like, go in, me and herself go into the pantomime and, like, zoom in the kids then or something, is it? Jog on, like, what are they actually playing at? Like, this whole thing is just getting messier and messier. That's my thoughts on it, basically. Anyway, they're making a bigger mess of this than what they did with the prohibition of drugs. But sure, we won't go there anyway. As I say, I try not to cross over the two different arguments there. What's going on around the whole regulations and public health measures at the moment. Look, anyway, Mr. Always is out there. Bogwan's son is out there. Dahi from Dublin. What's going on in Dublin, Dahi? John Finnegan as well, confusing us, people making us think it was Friday, but it was Saturday. Bloody stoners don't even know what day of the week it is unless the TV tells them, huh? Huh, John? Huh? The guy on the TV, you're relying on him to tell you what day of the week it is. Whatever you do, don't rely on RT if you're thinking anyway. Oops, did I say that out loud? Daniel Crowley, Temple Grower, what's happening? TG, Temple Growers out there. TG, you'll be happy to know that this is actually your Lactusus. Lactusus? I can never really pronounce that thing. I was struggling. GB was laughing at me the last day as well, trying to bloody struggle with those Star Trek names. But Lactusus was definitely the hardest of them all to pronounce. Crystalline Entity was okay, and A472 okay. But Lactusus, it's a small bit of a tongue twister, and definitely if you've got a bit of cotton mouth going on as well, you can get your tongue stuck to your palate. It's a dangerous word. Oh, others out there. Oh yes, Mr. Always Hype. Yes, the guys greeting TG. Right, let's blaze up this Latusus. Locutus. You see, no, look, see, you're much better at explaining this now, GB. GB just laughing at my expense, like he's sound him. But yes, that's a good way. Locutus. Okay. Because I was kind of saying, like, as if it was lock, as if there was a K in there, I'm sure. It was like Lactusus. lactusus, L-O-C, lock. But Lotusus. Nice one, TG. Legend. Now, let's blaze up some Lotusus here. Locutus. Jeez, I was messing her up already. Locutus. Better crack open the window here in the studio as well before we do any combustion. Yes. There we go. So yes, a little civil disobedience here on today's 420 news. And before I do actually, guys, I would like to dedicate today's civil disobedience and the entirety of the show actually to the first headline I have for you today. And it's probably the saddest news that we're going to cover this week and you know, hopefully for the rest of the year. I hope we don't get any sadder news than this. But unfortunately, the cannabis community, we lost a good one last night. Yes, a very prominent activist by the name of Jeff Ditchfield, who I hope many of you are well aware of out there, but I became aware of Jeff's work after first seeing the Project Storm documentary. Well, actually, I think prior to Project Storm, I was aware of Jeff through his work with Bud Buddies. Bud Buddies is a group over in the UK that was set up that they basically helped get cannabis to patients who needed it. And here pictured on screen is actually Jeff. And Jeff is getting arrested here on screen, as you can see this picture. This was outside of the House of Parliament over in the UK. This was, I believe, in 2018, 2019, somewhere along that time, when Jeff was actually supplying cannabis to a very sick patient. The patients of Jeff... well, patients, I don't really want to call them patients of Jeff's. They were patients who required the service that Jeff would provide through the Bud Buddies, where they were providing cannabis to the patients. Because through another documentary which Jeff actually worked with called Bud Buddies, Bud Buddies Project Storm was the name of the documentary. I'm going to pop it up on screen there now for you all to see this, because I think it's well worth you knowing about this as well. Or is the Chrome Bud Buddies Project Storm? Boom. But yes, this is well worth knowing about as well. This is Bud Buddies Project Storm. It's over there on YouTube at the moment. But I'm just going to play a small little piece of this here, which is going to introduce Jeff Ditchfield and some of the work that he done in the UK. This is like 21 minutes into this documentary. It's a really worthwhile documentary if you haven't already seen it. It's released over like 7 years ago now, almost actually, December 2014 here this was uploaded. But a good documentary nonetheless, and well worth checking out if you haven't. But yeah, we'll blaze this on up, and we'll play this then for Jeff. So we'll hit play there.
Most 66-year-olds would be terrified to do what Pat did, which is where groups like Bud Buddies, run by Jeffrey Ditchfield, come in. He makes illegal cannabis creams, capsules and ready-rolled joints and posts them to sick people. He's taking all the risks and has been arrested 5 times.
Before Bud Buddies started helping people, they were having to get cannabis from their local dealers, people who were dealing not just cannabis, dealing dangerous Class A drugs. And even the form of cannabis that they're selling, Soap Bar and Rocky, that these dealers sell, only contains less than 10% cannabis. The rest of it is made up of plastic, diesel, ketamine, which is a horse tranquilizer. So people are damaging their health by going to dealers. Plus they've got the chance of being ripped off, being assaulted. And I don't think that people in wheelchairs should have to go down back alleys to meet scumbag dealers to get what effectively to them is a medicine. I've just committed 7 counts there of production of a controlled drug with intent to supply, which I will be doing, because once these are cooled and set, I will then be sending them out to people who suffer from arthritis, who are Bud Buddies, and they will get the benefit of it.
We need more people like Jeff in the world. We really, really do.
Jeff Ditchfield runs what he calls a cannabis medical centre in Rill. It was while those premises were being searched by police last September that small amounts of cannabis and cannabis resin were found in his car. Mr. Ditchfield readily admitted that the drugs were his, but he argued a defence of necessity, telling Chester Crown Court he had the drugs to give to sick people to help relieve their pain. It was an argument the jury unanimously accepted, and he now hopes the not guilty verdicts will lead to other prosecutions being stopped.
It's a case now where people can use necessity as a legitimate defence in possession of cannabis cases. And the jury knew that I had possession of cannabis, and they understood that it was not illegal for me to be in possession in them circumstances.
Despite being found not guilty, the judge in this case warned Mr. Ditchfield not to take the verdicts as approval for what he was doing. He warned him, if you do this again, you run the risk of being prosecuted again. But Mr. Ditchfield says his views on helping sick people remain the same.
I cannot refuse a sick person if I can help them, and I've broken the law before to help sick people, and unfortunately, until doctors can prescribe cannabis, I may have to do it again.
So like Jeff went on to keep campaigning as he did, and he got arrested as well afterwards, as was pictured there earlier on up on screen. You know, that this picture that I had up there earlier, that was as part of Jeff's campaign. He brought cannabis with him outside of the Parliament, and he openly admitted to being in possession of it to the cops.
I won't be able to rely on the same defence as I did last time, so I won't be able to introduce any members of Bud Buddies into the trial because the judge will deem it inadmissible.
The police could charge Jeff at any moment.
So they basically
he's carrying on, regardless.
They wouldn't give him the precedent to the court there, you know, through the last finding. You know, they're kind of like, you know, you can't use this defence next time. I'm not too sure how that works. Like, I'm not legally fucking a legal professional of any of any standing, you know, but I would have understood that what would have been a defence in one case, why is it not a defence the next time? Like, it is a necessity for you to do this. Like, unless the government have changed the laws since then, like, how can the necessity change? How can the necessity not be a defence a second time around? It just, I don't understand that, like, and I still today don't understand that.
That's not the end of it. We've got other tricks up our sleeve. We're going to continue, carry on helping the sick, and when we go back to court, there'll be another battle.
So there's Jeff down in the south of Spain enjoying some of the finer cannabis plants. He's inspecting it here with a scope. He's got a jeweler's loop, and that's what he's looking at.
But you weren't here to film it.
So he was actually holding off cropping this until this guy got over there. And what he's doing now is he's actually inspecting the crop there just to kind of tell him if it's ripe or not.
Cloudy. And these are very cloudy, so yeah, they're ready for cropping. Well ready.
That's not just any plant, is it?
No, this is H's plant, who he planted in May. Here we are now, ready to crop it. So it's done quite well, especially considering the recent bad weather we've had. So she's done very, very well. Should be a decent yield, maybe once it's dry.
Amazing.
300 grams, we'll have to wait and see, but yeah, she's very nice, dense buds,
nice
good
resin.
colours.
Beautiful.
It's a one-to-one strain, which is what H needs.
How come H came to visit you?
His parents contacted me, explained the cancer that H was suffering with, or the two cancers H was suffering with. It was a severe case. They wanted to try the oil, so they asked if I would help, and I did. And while he was out here, he planted this plant, and now it's ready for cropping.
So that's your plan. So what we're going to do, your hands are a bit small. Well, mine, come on, hold your hand up. I mean, you know, yeah, but the thing is, I mean, I'm supposed to be fully grown at 44. I mean, your hands, you've got an excuse for having small hands. I've got girls' hands. Give me a hand. That's how we do it all, do you? There you go. That's it. Now, press it down like that. Cool. She's in there now.
Is that part of the philosophy that I sort of picked up on, is that it's about giving people a bit of a way of sustaining themselves?
It has to be. The only way that we can operate is to empower people and teach them how to be self-sufficient. So they have to learn how to grow, how to make oil, how to make extracts, and then administer it the most appropriate way. But they can learn all that knowledge, and they need to use it, learn it, so they can be self-sufficient.
I've heard you refer to as well that you look at the cannabis plant as chemical factories.
Yeah, I mean, what we're growing here is, I'm not growing cannabis plants as pretty and lovely as she is. What I'm growing is the trichomes. They're the little chemical factories of the plant. That's where the cannabinoids, the terpenes are produced. So they're the bits that I'm interested in, not all this green cellulose material, however pretty it looks. In Project Storm, I think we've provided just under 900 grams of oil, and that would be probably 20 to 25 plants of this size.
And do you reckon in terms of the UK, where the people are based, is that one of the challenges that they face, is how difficult it might be under UK conditions to grow this quality at that amount?
Well, if you're growing indoors, I estimate that someone with a 1 metre square space could be self-sufficient, but they'd have to be a very good cultivator to get the optimum yield out of that space. But that's part of the challenge, becoming a better cultivator and a better oil maker.
Shout out to green tea.
But they have to start somewhere. And what they should see is over consecutive crops that their yield will increase.
And Mr. Green
so that's
Tea.
been growing for a year, they should be getting at least double what they were first getting.
And I think green tea actually kind of found something along that like, you know, her first time wasn't that great, but the second time, like, she just like blew herself away on it, like. So yeah, this is just talking about the work that Bud Buddies have done there over that period. Just want to get pulled for any of this kind of thematic music that they're using. Yeah. But guys, check out that documentary if you haven't already done so. I just wanted to go through that little piece there on Jeff and his work that he was doing. Because, you know, it is worth remembering. I'm just looking through there. I just can't remember if there's any other parts. No, that was pretty much going through a couple of years there. There's another website as well that I'd like to just bring to your attention. If you put in jeffditchfield.wordpress.com, you'll be able to find Jeff Ditchfield's archive, I suppose, of all his work over the years. And there's one post up there. It's a post by Kevin John Braid. And again, it has some videos up there where Jeff Ditchfield and also the owner of THTC, they were interviewed there on Sky News. And this is a video that goes back to 2018
now,
here, it
hemp
says.
t-shirt company which has clothes stars,
February
including Ed
2018.
Sheeran, been talking about him a lot this morning, and Rag and Bone Man is campaigning for the legalisation of cannabis on the grounds of its medicinal benefits and useful
Will we have a look at
byproducts.
it?
So let's talk to the managing director of THTC
Sure, let's have a
Clothing,
look at
Gavin
it.
Lawson, and Jeff Ditchfield, author of Cannabis Cultivator. Morning to both of.
And guys, it has to be said as well, you know, that before we go any further, that like Jeff left the UK because of the prohibition of cannabis. Like, Jeff was in fear that if he got locked up in the UK, that without his medicine, because he required cannabis as a medicine, because I believe Jeff became unwell. I'm not too sure what illness Jeff was actually suffering with, but as Jeff said, that should he go to prison and they take away his cannabis medicine, he would surely die within there, that any prison sentence would be a death sentence for him. So he left the UK, and I believe he ended up in Jamaica for quite some time. The last time I got to communicate just by messenger with Jeff, thanks to Mickey. I don't know if you're out there, Mickey, but Jeff was talking to me just about some stuff, and I was hoping to have him on. I'm really glad that I get to have him on. But I do think that the prohibition of cannabis really took a toll on his life, and he's the ability for him to treat his illness, and I'm not too sure what that might have actually been, so I can't really speak there on that, but we'll finish off this clip there. It's 4 seconds too long, but it's 4:24, so you know 4:20 is 4.
Morning.
Let's blaze one for Jeff.
There's a difference, though, isn't there, between hemp, and you see hemp in some sort of soap products and things. Hemp and cannabis aren't always necessarily exactly the same thing, are they?
No, they're not. So we produce, THTC, my company, produces industrial hemp, which is much stronger than cotton and a lot less thirsty than conventional cotton.
So more environmentally friendly?
Much more environmentally friendly, with thousands of byproducts, all of them positive, including a great food source, a plastic, an engine oil, medicine, and obviously a textile, which can be grown, as I said, without chemicals and with about 10% the water of conventional cotton.
Biodegradable plastic?
Biodegradable plastic.
Oh,
there's a company called Hemp Earth now, which is David Kesek, who has made, a Canadian, who's made a hemp aeroplane, 75% hemp fiberglass, and he's running it off of hemp diesel. And we're obviously very addicted to plastic and petroleum, and anything you can make from petroleum and plastic you can also make from hemp plastics, which biodegrade within 3 to 6 months.
There's a lot to be said for it, and a lot of benefit from hemp. Some people may, though, think that it's a big step then, Jeff, to sort of say, well, you know, hemp is good, therefore cannabis is good, though we know clearly there are some medicinal benefits.
Well, there are, and especially when it comes to treating serious illnesses like cancer and epilepsy, and that's what mothers, excuse me, today are fighting for at Parliament, and that's why I'm there to support them in it. And I'm actually illegally going to supply some THCA to a parent today, this afternoon, to illustrate the point that they should be getting this from doctors, not from people like me.
And that is a cannabis derivative, so it's a form of cannabinoid, is it?
Yes, this is THCA, which is what little Alfie was getting in Holland, and was successful in treating his seizures. But they can't get it in this country, and it's illegal, but it is available.
But how would that be administered, just out of interest?
Orally under the tongue.
Right.
And this has been lab tested. We know exactly the content. It's 2.5% THCA, and it's been shown to be effective in America and Colorado and states where it's legal.
So, I mean, is this part of the reason, Gavin, why you think there needs to be change? Because something like that, which is, you know, properly monitored, lab tested, know exactly what's in it, if something like that is available, it could make a difference. Because the other people are going to say, of course, well, does this just mean we're going to have people smoking pot on the streets?
Well, people would already smoke pot on the streets, and I think it would be way better if it's decriminalised anyway, so that it can be tested, and education is the key. I mean, I think you'll find that in countries that it has been decriminalised, the usage has gone down, and the average age from a heroin addict has gone up remarkably from about 18 to about 45. And I think...
so destroying that idea then that it's, as we've heard so many times, that it's a slippery slope.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's all about education, and I think you're more likely to go onto harder drugs personally if you're drinking than if you're using cannabis. But my company does support legalisation of cannabis in all forms, but essentially we're about promoting hemp as a textile and as a plastic and as a food source and all the other benefits of industrial hemp.
I've just got to ask, Jeff, I mean, clearly you're making your point very clearly with all of this, and a lot of people will support you, but you say that's illegal.
Yes.
You're going to get arrested taking that into Parliament today.
We'll find out.
That's the plan.
I'm going to ask a police officer, tell him I'm in possession of a Class B drug, cannabis THCA solution, with intent to supply to the parent of a seriously ill child. And what's he going to do about it? I'll find out.
Yeah, oh, well, look. I admire your stance on taking it to that level. Your views on that will be very welcome at Sky Stephen, at Sky Gillian. Really good to talk to you both this morning.
Thank you.
Loving the King David T-shirt.
Thank you. We actually donate 20% of this to the World Land Trust. So thank you very much.
Lovely. OK, let's get it.
David Attenborough, he's wearing on his top there, just in case any of you don't know. THTC, they do like hemp clothing, and they had that David Attenborough T-shirt that they released. And 20% went to the Land Trust there, as he said. But yes, as Jeff Ditchfield talked about there, he did go to Parliament afterwards, and he did get arrested. He was released without charge in the early hours of the morning, but unfortunately, you know, he ended up leaving the UK, I believe, not much longer after this, in fear of being put to prison, and again, you know, that being a death sentence for it. Unfortunately, Jeff passed away unexpectedly last night. I'm not too sure again what that condition was that he passed from. But again, my condolences to the friends and family and loved ones of Jeff Ditchfield. His work is not gone unnoticed. So thanks again, Jeff. May you finally rest in peace, buddy. So yes, we did blaze up a couple of bowls there for Jeff as well, and I hope he did join me as well in blazing up and remembering a wonderful and amazing campaigner. Right, let's drive on then with the rest of the news. Boom. What else do we got lined up? Yes, guys, I got a bit of a festive one for you next, but it's not the festive news piece that you would like to be getting. No, oops, better pop off this Chrome. Ah, yes, there we go. Boom, there we go. The Gardaí have begun their 6-week festive checkpoint campaign. And this campaign has a very particular focus on mandatory intoxication checks. Yes, this is the Gardaí. They're going to be carrying out these mandatory intoxication checks over the next 6 weeks as a primary focus of a campaign to reduce road deaths on Irish roads. They list here a number of fatalities on Irish roads, but what they're pointing out is that most of these fatalities occurred in the hours between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m, so that they're appointing these hours the most dangerous times to actually be on Irish roads. So I don't know if you knew that, but 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. So I would expect that maybe that this will be the time that they'll focus their efforts with these mandatory intoxication checkpoints. Again, just putting the two together. I don't know if that is the case. You should probably just take it that the possibility is that over the next 6 weeks you could encounter one. So again, guys, just remember, if you are a cannabis consumer out there, and if you believe that you have, you're within the limits and stuff like that, there's not really much you can do if they test you over the limits. But one thing that you have to be very well remembering is that if they don't monitor you for 10 minutes prior to testing you, then the results are invalid. I don't know, prior to testing you, I think they have to monitor you for 10 minutes and then they have to test you. So they can't test you and then monitor you for 10 minutes. No, if they monitor you for 10 minutes, then test you. So that's another 15 minutes of waiting for the test results. And so just remember that if they don't do that 10 minutes, you could get off. But of course, guys, don't be consuming anything intoxicating and driving in an impaired way. Obviously, I acknowledge the fact that our limits are zero limits and not actually reflective of what is a safe limit level to have in your system. So yeah, be warned, guys. 6 weeks of mandatory intoxication checks in Ireland. So be warned, be safe, and yes, watch yourselves. Honestly, just remember that one though. That 10-minute thing, it's something, and don't point it out to the guard either. You know what I mean? Don't, when you're at the checkpoint, don't say, "Well, you've to watch me for 10 minutes now." Don't say that. Let them make the mistake and catch them afterwards for it. So yeah, put that one into your back pocket and say nothing. CCAS out there as well. Solid advice, Martin. Nice one. Not a bother at all. Hopefully it helps somebody out there. And again, guys, just be very careful. Don't be driving impaired. What a lady, big respect to Tea Glass. Yes, John Finnegan, giving respect there to our Tea Glass. For those who don't know, that's green tea. Other comments coming in as well. Hype saying a friend of Gangzhou had his whole apartment block locked down last week for a month or so over a case in the area. God knows what they're doing now. Yeah, I don't really want to go back into it too much, but they did pass legislation here. They're talking about passing legislation here where it gives the minister specific powers to lock down certain areas, or to what they were kind of saying, label certain areas as being more riskier than others or something, and also the powers to detain an individual who could possibly spread COVID. So again, a lot of ambiguity there, as to what does that actually mean? How do you interpret that? Who's potentially a spreader? It's but yes, definitely a dodgy road to be going down. And Pods 420 talking about isolation camps ready in Wicklow for anyone suspected of spreading the virus. That was reported in the Irish Times. No way, man. That's nuts. That's over people escaping out of the hotels the last day, I'd say. Yes, Mustawa says, love that he said THCA. Yeah, THCA, that's THC acid. So it's the THC with the acetyl, an acidic molecule still attached to it. So it's not a psychoactive, it's not psychoactively ready, but it still does carry much of the therapeutic benefits of that of THC as well, the psychoactive version of it. Again, you get THCA to THC by decarboxylation. That's why you decarboxylate your cannabis to break down that THCA into the THC version. That's why, you get a lighter and you burn it and it hits it, that you're converting THCA into THC. Just in case you didn't know that. So if I just chomp down on some of this lovely green veg here, I'm not going to really get any high because there's very little THC actually in there until it gets decarboxylated. Yeah, a lot of RPs coming in there for Jeff as well. And yeah, it's a very sad piece to bring that news like that. But he's a guy that has to be remembered for all of the great and wonderful things he's done. And we have to really use him as a point of inspiration and motivation going forward as the convictions that guy had, really, you know, and to get the change that was needed. He's seen it, like, you know, that this plant, the medicines from it, the extracts from it, they were keeping people alive. And it's like, well, this is a law that's worth breaking, you know. It's just like, it's a risk worth taking. So we all need to kind of to take a little just the smallest piece of inspiration from that, and yes, that'll be a great way to honour that guy. Jeff Ditchfield, sorry, shouldn't just say that guy, Jeff Ditchfield, the legend. Sean M, hello Martin, what's happening? What's going on, Sean M? And Teresa O'Connell out there as well says scary times. Yes, scary times indeed. Let's drive on with the news and other things happening around Ireland. The next headline is our buddy from Moac. This is Michael O'Sullivan, who is a former drugs detective. He would have been running around with what was your man's name? The old Kinahan dude, the daddy Kinahan. I can't think of his name now. Fucking the old one. What was it? Charles? No, I don't know. I can't remember the older one anyway. So he was running around with him. So I talked about Moac there in depth the last time as to, you know, what is it that they're at? Cassidus Drugas has actually sent me a few photos of the Moac Centre over there in Lisbon where they're headed out of, and there's like skateboarders outside there sitting down rolling up joints, like grinding on curbs, and, you know, nice wax sidewalks and stuff like that outside of there. So this is outside of the headquarters of Moac. Moac stands for Marine Operations and Analysis Centre or something like that. It's basically like the European centre for like marine monitoring, especially for like the Portugal region anyway, and like the Irish one as well. They do a lot of liaison there with Africa as well, because this is the point in which South America lands their cocaine. You know, it goes from all the ways from Africa, coming right up into the Canary Islands, to the mainland, then Spain, Portugal, and into Ireland then as well as another point to get to the rest of Europe. But these guys, you know, I have to wonder, you know, I don't know if any of you watch these TV shows out there, like the Narcos and the Mexico one and all of that stuff, like the level of corruption that goes on out there. Like, you see the stuff with Mexico, like in their politicians and stuff. Like, do you think we're immune to this kind of stuff? Like again, and I was pointing out, you know, like Michael O'Sullivan, like he's around a long fucking time. Like he's been around a long time. So as I said, he's running around with Daddy Kinahan. Daddy Kinahan, like, never really done any serious time. Like, he's still out and about now, like, you know, and the sons, the cousins and all of that stuff are still running the family business. And you have to wonder what kind of connections were made there over the years. Like, you know, was Daddy Kinahan passing information to Michael O'Sullivan, you know, and Michael O'Sullivan then was turning a blind eye then to the Daddy Kinahan stuff, like I don't know, like, but you have to wonder, like, why is it that this guy Michael gets to the position he's in? And I'd imagine he's probably on some sort of 6-figure salary over wherever he is. But again, you know, he's gone through the years of it. Like, he's seen it. Like, he's been there on the streets of Dublin back in the 80s when drugs were kind of just starting up and rising. Like, and now look at him, like, you know, 30-40 years later, and he's like at the head of this operation. And all he's basically doing here in this headline, and this headline is basically to do with the recent massive seizure that was made there in Ireland, because he's talking about tsunamis of cocaine from Colombia now hitting Europe, with huge shipments ending up in Ireland, with the Michael O'Sullivan commenting then that the seizure there in Dublin Port will hit gangs and put a dent into the Christmas market here. So again, when I was covering that 10 million story, I was just talking about, you know, they're taking their photos of the 10 million. But what's going on? Like, is there another billion, like a 10 billion euro worth of cocaine and cannabis and heroin and shit going through? Like, and is this all arranged? Like, you know, is Michael O'Sullivan like there, like, and he knows, and then Michael O'Sullivan can go out and make his headline statement, look at us, we're doing this, and big dent before Christmas, like, it's great. And the politicians then as well, like the politicians then go in and jump on board. because then this was also within the same week, like this was last week, when the Dail was questioned by a Fine Gailer by the name of TD Alan Farrell. He's a Fine Gael TD. And he asked about the seizures that are being made within Ireland. I think this was like a written question to the Minister for Justice. And the Minister for Justice gave a lengthy written response. It's over there on oireachtas.ie if you'd like to go and have a read of it. I'll pop it up on screen there just so you can see the response. I'm not going to read all of the response, but again, you see how they're jumping on board here with their numbers, like, and look, we're doing a great job, you know, and like a Minister for Justice here. As of 18th of November 2021, the Garda National Drugs and Organised Crime Bureau have seized control of drugs to the value of 51.84 million, made 151 arrests, recovered 4 firearms and 55 rounds of ammunition, and seized cash to the value of 5.1 million in the year 2021. So the year 2021 is not even over, and this is the work that's been done. But again, and I always talk about this, you know, that every seizure that's been made, you know, that this is what it's amounting to at some point later on, that our ministers then can go on and they can read off the statistics and they can talk about what a wonderful job we're doing. Look at all this, like, this is great, you know. And meanwhile, like, how much of this is actually just orchestrated, facilitated, like a charade, like, you know, for every like 10 million seizure, there was actually about €1 billion worth of drugs actually coming in through agreements made there with people. I don't know, like, is Helen caught in on this? Like, I don't know, how deep does the corruption actually go in Ireland? I don't have any evidence of it. I'm only just speculating. I'm only just theorizing. I'm just literally just imagining if Ireland, like, imagine if we had like Narcos Ireland, like, you know, in 20 years time, and we go back and we find out actually, like, yeah, the Kinahans were fucking in cahoots with Fine Gael all along and deep in with the cops and shit like that. Like, you know, it's possible, like, you know, prove me wrong. I don't have any evidence to prove me right, but like, I'm not saying it's true, I'm just speculating. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility. It is definitely a possibility. Cáceres Drogas says there are gangs selling fake drugs about 20 metres away from a MOAC in Lisbon. So while they disrupt the drug supply coming into Europe, they create a market drive of poor quality due to the lack of legit supply. Spot on, Casa. And there's another video that I'd like to play for you, and I know many of you are aware of it. Like, but it's what I'm kind of saying in a nutshell as well. But I believe Neil Woods, who is an ex-cop, an ex-undercover cop who's spent many years of his life actually enforcing this failed prohibition, and he's seen the error of his ways, and this is a powerful video. So I'll just play this, and we'll move on then. And yeah,
police all over the world know that pictures like this are a deception.
Or like MOACs, you know.
These are headlines we all know. The police have made another big bust,
hopefully there's not copyright,
and they're keen to show it off, with the drugs laid out on a table and the cameras clicking. Senior police love this coverage. They get to bump up their statistics and push for bigger budgets. Politicians use it to convince everyone that policies are working.
It's working, isn't it?
Journalists know that drug stories always generate clicks. But there's a dirty secret that every cop in that picture knows. That no matter how impressive the seizures look, it makes absolutely no difference to the drug supply. Not only do we never decrease the drug supply, these busts actively increase violence. If you take out one major drug dealer, all you do is instigate a turf war. And in this war, it's the most violent and ruthless criminals who rise to the top. This is part of the reason why drug gangs now exploit children. Even the National Crime Agency, Britain's version of the FBI, recognise that this approach doesn't work. While there is a user base willing to spend millions and millions of pounds on drugs, we will have an issue with illicit drugs in this country. We can't arrest our way out of that. We need to tackle the drivers behind it. Wherever you see police post this kind of drugs photo op, please post this video in the comments so we can continue this discussion. If you're a police officer who, like me, realises that policing the war on drugs only makes the situation worse, then please get in touch. Join the growing international movement. Follow the Law Enforcement Action Partnership, Anyone's Child, and Transform Drug Policy Foundation.
Great groups, guys.
Because drugs
Give
are a
them
health
follow-up.
issue,
Support them.
not a criminal one.
Again, I've reached out to Neil Woods, and we'll leave that there, and give him a follow over there at Woodsy over on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, he's on Facebook and stuff as well. He has agreed to come on and do a podcast there a number of months ago, and I would just have to put my head up and say I just had way too much going on at the time, and I never really got around to it. I kind of had a hiatus there and doing interviews, but I'll certainly get around to doing it if not in this side of the year, definitely early next year. I seen he was online there recently. He was speaking actually in with the Students for Sensible Drug Policy recently in Newcastle. So I hope that event went really well for him. But yes, I'll get Neil Woods on there for an interview sometime very soon. But do be aware of that video. It's over there on his Twitter page if you're looking for it. And as he said in the video, just share that anywhere you see these posts, because as I was quite just pointing out, you know, as to like Helen McEntee and all of these, like they're all like benefiting off of this prohibition when nobody's benefiting in the communities. Like we just go back to this lengthy statement there by Helen McEntee, and where in her statement, and just at the bottom of it, you know, she like they talk here about Operation Tara, you know, and they're quoting, you know, some of the seizures made 123,000, you know, Cannabis Herbert 100,000. But it's at the end of it, it's like, I welcome these significant seizures and the reassurance that this policing success brings to the communities affected. Like, where's the success? How's there success? Like, how has anyone benefited from any of these seizures? Like, you listen to what was just pointed out there by a cop who served these policies for many years and now speaks out against them. It doesn't serve the community any benefits, you know. It instigates turf wars. It just makes the problem worse for the community, because now the criminals will probably go and maybe recruit kids and things like that, you know. They become more violent, and all of that as a result of the removal of, say, a drug dealer from a community. It's incredibly problematic. These are not successes at all. They're paraded as successes in the media. The media will parade them out there as successes, but people like myself and many of you out there as well, we know better that these are not successes. You know, when they're on there talking about, like, say, this next headline there, which is a teacher who had his home raided after he was caught selling some cannabis on Henry Street in Dublin. Like, they would say that this is a success. This is a success of the policy. But is it? Is it really? This guy by the name of Mr. I imagine that the kids called him Mr. Rogers. David Rogers, and he's 47 years of age, and he's an English teacher. And again, you know, I don't know for what reason he was selling cannabis. You know, did he have to supplement his income? Was he after losing out on a job? You know, was he not able to get the COVID payment? I don't know what his situation was. But he was caught selling some cannabis on Henry Street. And this is back in October 2018, and following that, the Gardaí searched his house, and they found more cannabis there, to the value of it was €24,640. So the total amount of cannabis he was caught with there in his property was just shy of 25,000. Actually, I've incorrectly said 26,000 there in the headline. It was just shy of 25,000. But nonetheless, anyway, this teacher found himself up in front of the judge, and while in court, it was disclosed that Mr. Rogers had suffered with a severe brain injury as a result of being badly assaulted by his brother over a row that arose due to, I suppose, an issue due to the family home. And Mr. Rogers actually spent 5 months in hospital as a result of that assault. And he ended up, you know, he had been studying at the time, it says here, for a languages degree in Dublin City University, but he suffered a brain injury in the assault and struggles with short-term memory and learning, and leaving rehab, he turned to alcohol and then cannabis. So again, I don't know, was he guided by his solicitor here, taking advantage of his inability to maybe think properly because of the brain injury? But he's leading on that he had a drug problem. Alcohol and cannabis was a drug problem, and that he's still recovering from the acquired brain injury. But prior to this, like Mr. Rogers had an ability to speak not one but many languages. He was proficient in a number of different languages, including Arabic, Spanish, and German. So a very, very intelligent man. And again, like he went in, started using cannabis. I'm not too sure what the situation is with the alcohol. Maybe he did have a problem with alcohol, like, but it seems like he was growing cannabis successfully. And could the cannabis have been a benefit? Well, yes, it very well could have. And we don't provide access to cannabis for, say, brain injuries here, but say in other places of the world, they do. And I have a video here just to follow up and tie in with this one, and it does very well. It is incredibly relevant with this, because this is from where is this from? This is from over in the US anyway. Where in the US though? Anyway, it'll probably say it in the news piece. So we pop it up there now, and this is a brain injury survivor credits medical cannabis for his recovery, and he hopes for legalization, because this guy was using cannabis illegally too. I believe he's in a state, and that's what I was trying to look at. I think he's in a state where cannabis was illegal, and he was being provided cannabis that was being grown for him, I believe, by a family friend. But I played a piece here now for you.
State lawmakers are debating a bill to legalize medical marijuana, and one man is watching with great interest. He credits cannabis for his recovery after a car accident. Ken Smith explains why the man hopes to make medical marijuana his business in our Morning Original.
We first met Jordan Slade in April 2019. It was 2 years after a front tire blowout sent him crashing into an abandoned house.
And I guess I sat there for 3.5 hours before somebody found me unconscious.
He suffered a traumatic brain injury as well as 2 strokes. At that time, Slade struggled with memory, speech, and mobility. 3 years later, he has made great progress. He credits his use of cannabis, which is still illegal in North Carolina.
And I was able to stop taking 13 different medications also that I was supposed to be on for the rest of my life.
Slade is focused on a medical marijuana Senate bill now before state lawmakers. Proponents claim prescription marijuana helps people with serious medical issues, including cancer, post-traumatic stress, and end-of-life pain and nausea. Slade also tried CBD, a now legal byproduct of the marijuana plant and produced in many forms.
I had very minor benefits from it, not enough for me to keep doing it.
If the state legalizes medical marijuana, he plans to be part of the new marketplace.
I am going back to school for my business management degree to start my own dispensary, medical dispensary chain in the state of North Carolina.
Ken Smith, WRAL News.
If legalized, there will be stiff competition for supplier licenses. Some lawmakers are now arguing for a much higher cost than what is now proposed, which is $50,000 with an annual renewal cost of $10,000.
Great way to make it more beneficial there to be in the black market, wouldn't it? Putting those big huge costs for fucking acquiring a license in place. Lovely. Well done, lawmakers. But you know, that story there is definitely backs up that man's situation. He shouldn't be shunned for his use of cannabis at all, which he was. Mr. Rogers was not only shunned, but he was handed a 2.5-year prison sentence, but it was suspended in its entirety on condition that he keeps to the peace and engages with, you wait for it, a drug addiction treatment centre. So basically, this guy now has to take up more state resources. He has to fill a place in a drug addiction treatment centre. Now, that's to do with the cannabis, I would imagine. I don't think that's to do with alcohol. I would imagine if it was alcohol, they probably would have said he would have to go to the alcohol rehab or something like that. Maybe would they have said drug rehab, like drug treatment for alcohol? No, they would probably say an alcohol treatment program, wouldn't they? Yeah, they probably would have. So it's an issue there that they're seeing cannabis be more of a problem than what it actually is. That the guy could have been self-medicating with the cannabis, as people who have TBIs tend to do. You know what I mean? They tend to gravitate towards things which kind of alleviate their issues. Some of those can be much more beneficial than others. You know, cannabis might have been very beneficial for him, but if he was combining it with alcohol, then that's no bueno. Like, if he was abusing it, that is, like, you know. At least if you abuse cannabis, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're either going to have an expensive bill from Apache or Domino's or somewhere like that, or you know, the cupboard's going to be empty real quick. Or you might have a bit of an extra sleep, you know, like these are not bad side effects, but, you know, you've used the alcohol there and potentially fatal situation. But yes, another patient potentially here in Ireland being criminalised for the medicinal use of cannabis. Backwards old law, isn't it? What's going on in the comments section, guys? What are y'all saying out there? Hunter K says the only people benefiting are the government and the Garda. Yep, we're not benefiting at all. We see no benefits at all from this. Mustawa is out there, says I've got to pop out. Chat to you all Friday. Have a great week. Mustawa, have a nice week, man. Catch you Friday. And the gangs, yes, the gangs as well. Casa de Strugus getting in there to Hunter K's comment, and others out there as well. TG, what's going on, TG? He says the simple fact that they know it literally does nothing should tell you everything about their motivation. Yep. And Hype says Henry Street only does 8s. Henry Street, guys, that's where we marched as well. That has to be mentioned there. That's where we marched up for the recent protest that we done from the Garden of Remembrance. I'm just gonna quickly see if I have. I do think I have a folder there. In my protest folder, I have a folder of protests. Yes, the Garden of Remembrance. There we are in all our glory. This isn't the one from Henry Street, though. No, that's not from Henry Street. Let's get the Henry Street one. We have another one from Henry Street. Henry Street. There we go. That is the Henry Street one. That's right up Henry Street. So this is where the guy was caught dealing his cannabis. That's where we marched this year, and I look forward to next year, guys. It's exciting times for the cannabis community. Anyway, that's all I'll say is cannabis legalization can't come soon enough. But until then, we will have our fun. Other comments coming in there from the comment section. Barry Fields, what's going on? Feed the cops gin. It helps seemingly. Yeah, that's true. And Barry Fields is talking about comments that were over there on the... I'm just going to have a quick look for it. It's up on the page there, isn't it? There we go. Yes, I got it. This was the cops over in the UK. They had this up on their it's like a Police Care UK. So this was coming from the Cork Cannabis Club, or at Cork Cannabis over there on Twitter. But these guys, the Police Care UK, they put this up here that Sterling Distillery have launched their Gin Blue line, which is basically, it's created in recognition of the 200 years of UK policing. 20% of profits will go to charities, including Police Care UK, hand bottled at their distillery in the shadow of Stirling Castle. So this is hilarious, isn't it? Like? So the Police Care UK, the UK charity for serving and former police officers, staff, volunteers and their families who suffer harm. What about the harm they do? Like, you know what I mean? What about the Lisa Middletons who've had their homes invaded, their medicine taken away, their livelihoods just shattered, you know? What about those people, you know? Meanwhile, it's okay there to promote gin on your thing. So backwards, is it not? Like, but yeah, I did get an old bit of a give him a bit of stick there. All right. As somebody was pointing out, I had a few people in get a bit of a committee. You just have to, do you know what I mean? You have to have your fun, as I said. Like, you know, you have to have our fun. So I quickly posted up there once this was brought to my attention. I said, my cannabis dealer said he will give 50% of his profits to your charities. He does not have to pay any taxes. And the kids he has working from work for almost nothing. It's the least he can do, he says, after you've done so much for his gangs with the prohibition you enforce. So I'm going to like my own comment now. Yes. But you have to have a little bit of fun. Yeah. Croncy says, watching this thing on YouTube explaining that drinking and smoking cannabis together is harmful. One will make you get sick and one will prevent you from being sick. Yeah, they counteract each other, all right, and that can lead to all sorts of ill feelings. But it's like cannabis and alcohol can be enjoyed together, but in moderation. The moderation is the key. Like, again, I had like a lovely steak and pepper sauce there yesterday for dinner, and I went and we picked up a lovely bottle of wine, a 2016 red wine, and we enjoyed that with dinner, myself and herself, and it was quite enjoyable. And yes, I did have a little bit of cannabis then with my glass of wine, and I drank that glass of wine over the course of about an hour, and it was incredibly enjoyable. Yes, I always think that the two go hand in hand. I think cannabis and wine are made for each other, but moderation is key. But definitely, you know, if you overdo alcohol, if you're drunk and you smoke a joint, oh shit, that's not good. I've messed myself up a few times doing that before, coming home after a night out at the club with the boys, and you roll up a joint and you spark up, and it's just like, you know, it's actually very dangerous as well, because if you do pass out from the smoking and if you do vomit from the drinking, you could potentially choke on your own vomit because you're so knocked out from both the alcohol and the cannabis, and that's not good. You know, this potentially fatal situation. You know, alcohol on its own is enough to do that. You know, but if you combine it with cannabis, which can give you again that whitey, that greeny effect. So definitely, you know, just be very careful on that one. Wait until the next morning when you're hungover, you know, and you're not at risk of falling asleep and choking on your vomit to spark one up. If you do come home really drunk. But you know, like, try to be sensible about that then, you know, you do come home drunk, like, you know, and try to be like sensible you when it's like 2 a.m. and like, you know, you're a couple of fucking sambucas deep, like. We won't go any deeper on that anyway, because dark memories coming up there to drink and shit. Yeah, Hunter K is saying that, Martin, your comment in that Twitter post about gin had me in bits. Nice one, Hunter. Pods4420 says, don't drink before you smoke before you drink. Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. Smoke before you drink. That's it. And like, when you smoke before you drink, it'll make you more conscious about your drinking, and it's a harm reduction method. If you really wanted to think about it, if anything, you're more than likely to go for a 7-Up or a shandy or something like that afterwards, you know, after an old toot. JW Hillpower says, whiskey will make you frisky, brandy will make you randy, but MDMA will make you fuck like a champion. It won't. MDMA will not make you fucking like a champion. I don't know what kind of MDMA you're taking by, unless it's mixed with some Viagra or something. All I've heard about MDMA is that your soldier ain't marching after that stuff. He won't stand to attention without some probably chemical inspiration. A trip you'll never forget, says Karan C. Yes, Temple Grower says, still fucking cold. Yeah, it's chilly, alright, it's getting colder here as well. Papa Gummy Bear says, wine and cannabis just like Jesus and his pals. Yep, there you go, man. The old Cannabosum. Shout out to everybody who reads the Bible. Right, let's drive on to the final headline then. Today's 420 news, and actually shout out to the Azores and stuff like that, because it's not 420 there, but it is 422, even though it just flicked at 423 as I said that. But anyhow, I just missed 420, so let's blaze one up, and we'll do the final headline then of today's 420 news. So it was just 420 over there in the Azores, I believe, and in Casa Verde. So blaze on up, boys. It's almost 424 as well there, so 424 is, you know, what else is that for? Orange Man bad. A few joints, few cans go well together. Lightweights. Yeah, that's it. Like, as long as you're hitting the joints while you're with the cans, like, you know, the two can go together. I've seen, like, my uncle do that. Like, you know, may you rest in peace. Shout out to Willie. It was recently his birthday there, actually, a couple of weeks, just over a week ago. But yeah, man, that guy loved these joints and these cans. That's pretty much what he lived for. That and his kids. But yeah, they can be done, alright. There's people out there will do it, like, but definitely the story goes, like, do not think that you can come home after a night out drinking and just sit down and smoke a big fatty, and that you're not going to be KO'd by the thing. be cautious, you know. Again, could lead to a fatal situation. Had a young fella behind my mum and dad's. I've talked about him a few times, you know, Alan Dornan, may he rest in peace. He was only 17, I believe, at the time of his passing, but he choked in his own vomit after a night out drinking with the lads. Potentially, I don't know, was there joints in the mix that night, like, but certainly there was a bit of alcohol consumed. Choked in his vomit in the dark hours of the night, and sadly was found there the early hours of the morning by his mum and his stepdad. So it was a tragic situation, you know. But where's the outcry for let's ban alcohol? You know, people are dying. No, let's not ban alcohol. You know, it's like people die. You know, it's like we know the risks. We just have to take precautions, try to reduce the risks. Let's drive on with the final headline anyway, guys. We'll cheer us up because it's a good one. It's a positive one. If you're situated in the right part of the planet, that is. Because this next headline is coming at you from America and I suppose Canada as well. I suppose Canada do Thanksgiving as well, I think. So I put in, it's a festive cannabis news because it's forget about Black Friday, as it's now all about the Green Wednesday for the cannabis industry. As recent cannabis sales there on Wednesday before Thanksgiving spiked by over 40%. So this is a nice nod there towards cannabis, as again, you know, many of the people opting for cannabis are doing so over booze this festive season, and that's a good one because, you know, I don't know how many of you have families that like tend to maybe overdo it on the old alcohol. And maybe they're just like, well, no, I can't say that there's been any rows actually that I can say, but I've definitely not on my mum and dad's side anyway, but like on like another part of the family side, like a cousin's family side, like I've definitely seen alcohol cause situations where there's like fights at get-togethers. So if you could opt for like cannabis over alcohol, I definitely think that's a better one, a better situation, and that's happening over there for Thanksgiving anyway this year. And even in some of the stores over there, one of the stores by the name of Air Wellness, AYR Wellness, they're a multi-state operator based in Miami. And they said they set out their own survey, and they managed to survey 1,300 cannabis consumers, and they found that almost 8 in 10 people intended to consume the cannabis that they bought on Green Wednesday with family or friends on the following Thanksgiving or over that festive period. Additionally, also then, about half of the people who were buying cannabis planned to gift that cannabis as part of gift giving over the festive period too. Again, you know, many of the consumers opting for cannabis there, they say that it's a dynamic gift-giving ability, with many Americans now enjoying cannabis, with it now being not illegal in the States, such as places like Miami. The study also found that 37% of cannabis consumers plan to serve THC-infused products with their Thanksgiving meals. Ah, lovely. I would imagine like a majority of that is just going to be a big old chocolatey brownie. Oh, what I would give, like, you know, to be able to sit down with my family if cannabis was legal and it was normalised, and they might entertain the thought of like tucking into an old cannabis brownie there on Christmas Day and having a fun gaming night then on Christmas night. I'm sure it would definitely help anyway if it was legal, but until then they're definitely not going to partake of any brownies I bring with me on Christmas Day. It says that that's surprising considering that in general around 80% of cannabis products sold are meant to be smoked or vaped according to BDSA's data. But again, you know, many of the products that are intended to be smoked or vaped, you know, they can be easily used for infusions. You know, they're talking about flowers. They talk here about as well cannabis likely to be becoming more entrenched as part of other holidays such as New Year's Eve, Christmas Day. And that doesn't mean that alcohol will go away at all, but in fact about 30% of consumers say that they pair cannabis with some form of alcohol, according to the surveys being done. Cannabis competition with champagne and eggnog over the holidays may be just the beginning of how it disrupts alcohol, according to this data, as 40% of the cannabis consumers in fully legal states say that they always incorporate it into celebrations and special events now that it's legal. So happy days, great stuff. Like I think that is certainly positive news there. It's certainly showing us, what we have to look forward to once we end this silly prohibition once and for all, and how it's really going to change the dynamic of these social events. That no longer will alcohol be the focal point of a social event here in Irish society. Imagine if you are able to have a cannabis-themed wedding where, a minority of people actually consume alcohol, and cannabis is the centerpiece of the kind of the consumption there for around the socialization. Just to loosen people up in a way, I suppose. Paired with some wine, beer and stuff. It's not that alcohol is going away. It's still there. It's still a part. It's just not the centerpiece. It's that people now have the option, to do one or do both or do neither. It's always a choice to do none too. But yes, as I do say, I would really love to see an end to this criminalisation, this prohibition, because it would really help to open up the conversation there, to sit down with the mum and dad and to kind of say, hey, do you want to try a slice of the brownie? Well, they know my dad now, actually, because he's probably on some medications that he probably shouldn't be mixing with cannabis, maybe my mum. Probably benefit her, actually. But she probably won't. Yeah, she has a bit of diabetes there, and actually got a genetic risk for it there. I was reading on my 23andMe recently, so I'm going to be using my cannabis as a prophylactic there to make sure I don't develop any insulin sensitivities to anytime soon. Hopefully, anyway. But right, that's it. That's all of the 420 news for today, guys. Hopefully you all enjoyed the news. Hopefully you all learned a little thing or two. As I say, it's important that we bring up, these people who benefit from prohibition. As I pointed out there, Helen McEntee, again, with their Fine Gael counterpart, Alan, what's his name? Alan Farrell, another TD there. Again, I wonder how much of a staged event was that, the two of them in the back room there. Come here, Alan, ask me this question there, because look, we got this data there and we need to use it. We need to get it out there because, look, we have a few journalists there lined up and they want to write about it. Think about it, we have to put the things together, these people benefit, so yes, let's hit to the hot box. Let's blaze one more up and let's get a few of your comments. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions out there, guys? What do you think about all of the news there? Anything piss you off? Anything excite you? Do let me know there in the comment section in the hot box. Who's hotboxing out there? What's going on? Barry in the comments with the thumbs up. Greenbeard is out there saying, what's happening, boys and girls? I'm in a heap here. Pulled the back out just after the show last night, laid up in the couch. Yes, I seen that post there, GB. GB went and moved one of his big puppies. In calling him a puppy, it's you wouldn't think that it's big. You would think it's small, in your palm of your hands. No, he's got big, huge puppers. Fucking little trucks. But yeah, he pulled his back, moving one of them last night, unfortunately, and he's up in a heap at the moment. Probably heavily medicated on probably anything that he had there, whatever was available to him, including all the cannabis that he could get. But hopefully you're feeling a bit better, Greenbeard. Welcome along to the show. We can catch up on the news there at some point later on, and feel free to grab any of it by a few news pieces later on in the week, dude. It's important to point out some of this, the money there, that aspects of stuff. I just think that can't be overstated enough. How they pitch the stuff up so beautifully for themselves, the pat in the back at the end of it all, the Gardaí go out and do the grunt work, to go out and put their lives on the line. As part of these questions to the minister, I was watching it back there, and it's all up in line. It's it's an hour long questions back and forth. But there was questions put to the minister there about issues being brought up by members of the Guard about the integrity of the GRA, the Garda Representative Association. Because there's some questionable stuff apparently going on there within the GRA, and Garda members aren't they're wondering, are they actually getting the most value for their money, because it's almost like a trade union. It was being pointed out. So there's big issues out there for the Justice Department that I believe And I think, you know, that the sooner we can end this prohibition of drugs in Irish society, the better, because it'll just make the job so much more safer for the Irish Gardaí, when they just have to focus on the real criminals out there, and we can undo this kind of this synthetic drugs market that currently exists. You know, this like black market that should not exist. There should be a regulated, controlled drugs market out there, like, and that's the only way that we're actually going to reduce the harm of these drugs in society, is by just acknowledging people want to use them, just control it, educate people, put controls like regulations in place, such as age limits. That's a good control we could have in place to reduce harms. We currently have it with alcohol, and it does a good job. You know, it's not perfect, but it works to the best part, you know. Well, anyway, sorry, how did we get off there? And GB 100k. I'm excited about flour being put into the MCAP program in Ireland. Great news. Hopefully a step forward. Yes, I apologise, guys. I never made that one into today's 420 news. That the Medicinal Cannabis Access Program has, they've recently included cannabis flowers. There's 2 products there coming from Bedrocan. I'll pop it up there now. Medical Cannabis Access Program. There's recent updates there to it. I'll see if they actually have it up on their website, but they've included 2 forms of flour. Where are the products now? Bedrocan, anyway, are the 2 products. It's a THC a high THC product and a 1-to-1 THC to CBD product, I believe, inside in there. 2 different cannabis flowers. Again, very, very limited selection there. But what it is that these two products have a long history of use there. They're coming from like an established, I'd imagine that they're growing these plants from tissue culture, which is the most precise way of actually replicating the outcome of the cannabis plant, you know, in terms of the chemo profile. You know, the greatest way to achieve a consistent chemo profile is, in my eyes anyway, as a herbal scientist, tissue culture. Tissue culture is where it's at. You need like really high-tech labs, real clean environments, but you can replicate then like on a massive scale a reliably consistent flow of cannabis plants, and I believe that's what Bedrocan are doing. I believe Bedrocan are using tissue culture, and that's how they're preserving the genetics. They probably have like what they would call like what would it be, like a principal stockpile, a prime stock, and then like from that prime stock they're always feeding from, like, you know, and it's, yeah. But yeah, two products added to the Medical Cannabis Access Program anyway. 2 cannabis flower products too. Again, which again for us guys, and I should have really had this one in, because I was talking to somebody there the other day messaging me about this, and I saying this is really a great opportunity for us now as campaigners, is because like how can they now say that cannabis flowers are a medical product, but the ones like that people grow themselves, the one that like say green tea out there grows for her partner, who has end-stage multiple sclerosis, how is that now not medicinal? Like, how is it right to criminalize that person for that product, when you literally have that very same product? Okay, it doesn't have the history. It's not a tissue culture, well-established line. It's not an established chemo cultivar. But that's all bullshit. That's all about capitalism. It's all about like patenting. It's all about making money. Where's the human side of this? Like literally, go shout out to Jeff Ditchfield, who today's show is dedicated to. Like, you know, this approach, like, of just providing the medicine that comes from this plant as efficiently as possible. You know, like he wasn't really interested in the making money side of it, patenting technology and all this. It's about just teach people how to grow this plant. Until the government get in line and sort stuff out, just teach people how to grow this plant, how to extract from it themselves, and it'll be sufficient enough anyway, you know. I know people want consistency and all of that stuff, and they should be provided that, but until the government get their heads out of their arse and legislate for that stuff, this is all we can do until then. So it's it's something that we really have to be utilizing now in our arguments. Like, hey, look, cannabis flowers are actually listed now as a medical product. Like, so therefore, like, how is like, and I know I was flashing it there earlier, like, but I had a lovely bud of the locutus, beautiful old bud of the locutus. But like, how is this like an illegal product now and non-medicinal, and the stuff that gets shipped over there from the Netherlands that comes from, like, you know, all right, the tissue culture, right? I can't do tissue culture here because I don't have access to a fucking $1 million lab with high-tech fucking HVAC systems and all of that stuff, like, you know, in order to ensure sterility. But like, that's just as medicinal as the stuff that's getting shipped over there. If I had a lab that I could go down the road and kind of get this stuff tested through like a HPLC system, then I'd be able to kind of say, hey, look, this is what this is. And then I would try to achieve that then again afterwards, maybe do some clones and see how consistent that is, you know? But it's not outside of the realms of possibility that we could be doing this stuff ourselves, and we shouldn't have to be paying this like 500 quid a month there for that Sativex spray that you could easily be doing yourself, like, you know. Oh, nice one, Casa de Stragas. My buddy K-Money, shout out to K-Money, he was asking about a beanie, and yeah, we got a few up there on the Streamlabs. You go to the Streamlabs Martin's World 1, I think it is. It's in the description there anyway. Anyway, but when you go over there, I was just going trying to pop it up on screen, but it's just like too much effort. I don't know, trying to find it. But yeah, there's like beanies and stuff like that over there. I ordered some myself, so I'll have one on here. I'll be displaying it very soon, as soon as it arrives. Hopefully it's speedily enough. Anyway, they said the first week of December, so just over a week for delivery. So I think it's coming from like Eastern Europe, out in like Latvia or something like that. That direction. So. TG says, yes, Locutus is a beaut. I'm sending my species A47208 to the lab today for cannabinoid terp tests. Well, that Locutus is really nice. I got some very nice tones of purple that came out in it. Very, very nice, and a beautiful taste then as well, like very perfumey, but not in a bad way, like in a very nice way, like a lovely floral note to it. Like, it's very hard to put it like what it is flavor wise, like, but it's like flowery. It's beautiful, like, it's really nice. So yeah, nice one. The grower was very happy with the outcome. Hype as well says, I thought that was the woolly hat with the peak, TG. Oh, hat with fluffy ball on top. Sorry, just looking through the comments there. Night Stalkers out there is asking, Martin, do you have any idea when or if the Medical Cannabis Access Programme will start offering access for other types of patients? Surely other forms of epilepsy will be an option eventually. Well, the thing is with other forms of epilepsy, like, it's not that any form is excluded, it's just that you have to be refractory. You've had to have tried all the other available medicines, and they have to have been successful, not successful at preventing your seizures. So like that could take a couple of years. Like, you know, I don't know if you suffer with epilepsy yourself, but it takes like a couple of weeks to get up to the required dose to see if it's effective. And some people might suffer with seizures like on a monthly basis. It might be like once or twice a month or something like that. So it might take a couple of months to really know if it's even effective or not. You know, because the doctor will say you might need a higher dosage again. You know, you might get the required dosage. You might say, oh, we try on even the higher dosage, you know, and then we'll try on the next drug, but it's going to take a while. We have to wean you off of this one. While we wean you off of this one, we'll give you this drug to deal with the nausea of weaning you off of that drug. Look, it's a mess, the medical system. And meanwhile, you know, you can't get access to cannabis. You could grow it yourself. You could legally grow it yourself, and it would probably be very beneficial to you if you did. But unfortunately, can you go into your doctor and say, hey, look, I suffer with epilepsy and I'd like to get access to cannabis to see if it'll prevent my seizures? It'd be like, oh, no. Here, try this Tegretol. Here, try this phenobarbital. Here, try this other anti-epileptic drug that has all of these other side effects. But don't worry about the side effects, because if you suffer with them, look, we've got these other drugs there that will help you with those side effects, you know. But it's very important you continue with this drug because it's a very good drug. Oh, man. This is one to me. I've not said this here on 420 News yet today, but I was recently actually diagnosed with epilepsy myself. I was diagnosed with epilepsy a couple of months ago now, and I was prescribed Tegretol for it. So Tegretol is an anti-epileptic drug and comes with a list of known side effects there. But look, they're low risk side effects. They only affect a small percentage of people. But I've not begun to take the Tegretol yet. I've been just kind of messing around. Well, not messing around, but I've been just trying to get shit in order, get on top of things, and a more consistent supply of cannabis there to treat the epilepsy and see if I can keep it at bay and see if I can reduce the frequency, the number of seizures. They did kick up over the last year. Over the last year, I kind of suffered with close to, I don't know, is it like 10, 12 seizures now? I don't know, is it the stress of all of this shit with prohibition, the courts and all of that stuff? Because after I got the last summons there in 2019, or when I got caught by the cops, with that joint in 2019, I think it wasn't too long after that, like, that I get a seizure again. Like, the very first seizure I can kind of remember getting would have been going back, in 2014 when I was out on temporary release TR from prison. I had to sign on daily at the local cop station, and I forgot to sign on one day, and it was like 12 o'clock at night, 12:15, and I remembered, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh shit, they're not going to let me sign on, they're going to let me go back to prison. And I was freaking out, like I was having a really bad time, like dealing with it. But luckily I rang the guards, like the guard station. They said, look, come on away up, you can sign the book, it's fine. And I still had to come back up the next day again and sign it. They wouldn't let me sign up for the 2 days, even though I was there the next day. But anyway, but I went back home that night and went to bed, and I had a seizure then that night in bed, not long after coming home from that. And again, like, that was a very stressful night before that, and I can't help but kind of put the two and two together. Like, is stress the kind of the trigger there for my seizures? I don't know, but I'm doing my best there to reduce stress factors in my life. So hopefully we can remove the biggest one, which is the prohibition of cannabis. But yeah, that is my situation with epilepsy and cannabis. Only one, isn't it? Temple Grower says, Bobble, you know where I'm from, right? We own that shit. the bobble hats, yeah, the old woolly bobbles. Yeah, oh damn, yeah, it is, oh damn, alright, yeah, it sucks, alright. It wasn't a diagnosis that I wanted to get, but at the same time, I knew it was coming. I was kind of happy to get it in one sense, because I was having these fucking seizures that, I didn't know that they were seizures. They were trying to put it down to my heart. They were trying to say it was like blood pressure and stuff like that, and I was like really worried. Like, I've talked about that. My dad had a heart attack. My dad's dad died of a heart attack at a young enough age, and he's late 50s, mid 50s. So I was always heart conscious anyway. And then these guys are telling me, hey, you're having these like blackout episodes because of your heart and blood pressure. And I was like, oh shit, I'm fucking gonna die. Like, my heart's fucking giving up on me. Oh no. But then I find out afterwards, no, you're actually having seizures. Like, I've a nasty video. Like, I won't play it. It's a nasty video. Like, it's disturbing. Like, it disturbs me when I look at it. Like, it's me fucking having a seizure. Like, it's how I confirmed that I was having seizures by having to video it. My partner had to video it. It's a horrible thing to look at. Like, yourself. Like, it's such a vulnerable thing as well, because it literally could just take it like that. Like, you know. As I said, I'm not triggered by lights. You know, if this light started flashing here now, I'm not triggered by that shit. Like, but stress, potentially, yes. Be funny if the cops ever came, like, I'm live here on air, like, down to 420 News. Fucking see a load of cops, like, swarm the studio, like, and then bang, Martin has a seizure, like, over the fucking stress and all that about, like, you know. Like, look there, the cops did that to me. That's prohibition in effect, man. That's just stressing, man. Who was I a danger to? The only person I was a danger to was fucking Helen McEntee and her headlines there about how successful she is with her operations and drugs, like, you know. But geez, sorry to hear that, Martin. Yeah, nice one, guys. Yeah, it's a shitty enough one, but look, I'm dealing with it. Thankfully, touch wood, haven't had a seizure in over 2.5 months now, 3 months. So, do you know what? Long may that continue. As I said, doing all my best I can to reduce all stress factors in my life, so we don't have any more. Hopefully that's what it is. Hopefully it's stress that's doing it, and yeah, we can manage that then. I can't wait until saunas open up, man. We've not fucking had saunas opened here in Ireland since like going back now, March of 2020. They closed the bloody things, and we've hadn't had a sauna open. Like I know there's like mobile ones and stuff like that going around the place, but the local one here, it's not been open. It's a heartbreaker, man. That was one local place that I used to get rid of so much stress. Go up there and chill out for like 2 hours and just relax, meditate. Oh, I miss that so much. So it's these lockdown measures, man, they're doing so much harm for people because they're keeping us away from things that are access to relief from stress for people, you know, like whether it be, but I don't know, as people, it's like 5 sides, you know, and indoor soccer and stuff like that all getting taken away. I don't know what the crack is, but you know. Excuse me. Yeah, we will take care of myself, Jet. Nice one for that. Scatanus as well. Stress sounds very much likely a trigger. All the best keeping it low, brother. Nice one, Scatanus. I really appreciate that. What's going on, Billy Bonds? What's going down, buddy? Hopefully you're all well, buddy. And welcome to the show. Late as usual, Billy, man. I'll give you a tardy slip. If you're late for the gym now and you missed the warm-ups, like we'd have you doing fucking laps, out doing laps there. Right, let's pack up one more bowl. We'll blaze one up and we'll get ready as we try to make a return there now tonight to the teaching of Thai boxing. Not been known teaching Thai boxing there since kind of fell on well, I suppose, and yeah. No way. Daniel Crowley says the saunas are open over in the Kingsley Hotel. Martin was only over a few weeks ago. I think that's for members only, and I do think that the Kingsley have some serious membership price there. But I must get on to the Maldron. The Maldron is a more local one here to me, and I believe they're making upgrades to their one, and I think once the upgrades are done, it's going to be open. I must touch base with them again, and I think that's where I'm going to get my membership then once they're open again. I think it's only like $50 for the month or something like that. Which is well worth it. I'd be pretty much only using it for the pool and sauna anyways. I do all my training or outside in the world. Don't really use the gym too much. Chilbert says, Martin, you coming to Planet Earth next August? I certainly am, Chilbert. I certainly am. I must touch base with the organisers of Planet Earth and see if I could deliver a bit of a talk on the importance of activism, you know, and local community activism too, like that, the importance that that each and every one of us, you know, that the role that we can all play in this, that we shouldn't sit back and rely on others to do this. You know, I'd love to be able to deliver a talk there to try to just stir some motivation, you know, inspiration out there in the community and you know, fire people up. Although a bit late in the season, August, still nonetheless, like I would love to go over there and deliver the talk on activism and try to get a bit of fire going. It'll be interesting to see what happens, you know, but by August the next year, who knows what could have happened. I do think that change is possible within that time frame. Do you? Later, GB. Hopefully you're feeling a bit better anyway, managing that pain. Casa de Struga says, shout out to the Kingsley Hotel where we put up Howard Marks and he loves the spa there. Yeah, you remember there actually, weren't you? You were a member there recently, and you spoke highly of the place up there. That was really nice. Must check it out. Maybe they've got a good offer up there in the prices. Maybe we might treat herself out for a night out and we go to the Kingsley for a night out. Meanwhile, it's just to go down to the sauna. Hype says, definitely want to go to Paradise Gardens. Did you get a ticket for the Christmas one? I didn't. I didn't know that there was a Christmas one going on. I'm out of the loop. I haven't really been online too much lately. Again, baby duties and all of that stuff. Like, I'm just happy to find the time to be able to do this show. But I'll have to look out for it. Send me links in the messenger. Keep me up to date on these things, guys. Anything that's worth being up to date on, any events and stuff like that out there, do hit me up. Messenger, Instagram, any of those places there. DM me, Gmail, stuff like that. Keep me in the loop, and I can keep others in the loop as well. As sometimes the algorithm doesn't work in our favor. You know, you mentioned cannabis, or if you're anyway cannabis related, they seem to try to downregulate that stuff. Like, so we have to try to keep each other informed. Chilbert UK says, I'll have the dabs lined up for you, Martin, and everyone else too. Nice. Chili, is it you or is it Wooly? I've heard one of you has got some kick-ass fucking RV or something like that. Nice. Look forward to getting over there anyway, and to meeting everybody at Product Art and to some of those other events as well. And hopefully we can get something lined up here as well in Cork. Like, I know the Cannabis Activist Alliance are talking about getting something going once they formalise, once we formalise. So hopefully that happens very soon, and we get that in the works, and we get the invite sent to Willie Nelson and to Snoop and to the rest of the boys, to Cheech and to Chong. Casa de Stroga says, never been, guests only, I believe. To the Kingsley. I thought you were a member of the Kingsley for a bit there, but maybe I'm mistaken. Or maybe you're talking about somewhere else. Or were you just in for the gym and the pool? And the saunas only for guests? They're very swanky that way, isn't it? Daniel saying it's 200 for 3 months in the Kingsley. They're very good though. 2 for 3 months. Yeah, that's like, it's on the upper end of things, all right. Like, you know, $50 a month there is a bit more manageable. What's that, 150 for 3 months? Like, yeah, you throw the extra 50, all right. Like, you know, just for the swankiness of the Kingsley. Like, I could see that, like, you know, because it is like, it's a nice spot. Like, I love going the run down outside of there as well. Like, it'd be really suited for it, you know, down along the Lee. Really nice spot. Casa de Stroga says there'll be a lot of smoke in that sauna over the next few weeks. Yeah, there certainly will. All right, if maybe somebody will, will give me the 3 months sauna there for Christmas. Here, might be on my Christmas list. TG says, yep, I'm out as well here. I'm gonna try and deal with this furnace shite. Lovely. Peace out, TG. Hopefully you have a nice old day over there on the other side of the planet, dude. Later, masturbators, he says. Barry Field says, we need to push for over 2K subscribers. Share with friends. Where are we at? I think I'm at 1900, am I? I haven't really been tracking the numbers, to be honest. Like, and I kind of should. I'd like to keep an alert there for when I reach 4,200 subscribers again. I think I'm close to that there over on Facebook. Where am I? YouTube. How many do I have? 1,895 subscribers. Nice. Thanks to each and every one of you guys. 1,895 of you took the time to hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much, guys. I'm very moved by that. What have we done over on Facebook? Like, we've got some good numbers there over on Facebook as well. I do believe there's like close to like 5,000 following, and like another 4,000 have liked, which is interesting. More people have followed than liked, which is I wonder why that is. About, oh, there we go. Pop it up on screen. There's the numbers over on Facebook. Over on, as some other people call it, we won't say any of the crude words actually. But 4,029 people have liked the Martin's World page, and 6,017 people have followed this page. And this page as well, guys. Now, don't forget, like, this is a political candidate page. You know, I wonder when I click this, like, what other political candidates are out there. You know, in Ireland, like, you know, put a filter on it here, like, for Cork. Sandra Murphy. Not trying to compare, like, not measuring, like, so it's like, she doesn't even show her number, does she? Poor Sandra. Poor Sandra. Sorry. She was just the first one that came up there, like, you know, and I just kind of hit the button, so like, I didn't want to go to anybody specifically, but, you know. Roll on the next Irish election, guys. As I said, like, I really do hope, like, that 2022 will be interesting. I don't want to see an election too early in 2022, as I want to see the Citizens' Assembly happen. But I do welcome an election, and I can't wait to run again. Just biting at the bit here to go, like, you know, just waiting for him to open that door, like, and watch me rash out of that trap. Like, I'm gonna hit the floor running. They won't know I hit him. And on that note, let's hit one. Let's hit one. We get a few more comments in there, guys, if you want me to read out your comments, and we'll sign off there in the next like 5 minutes. So blaze one up, guys. This is the Jeff Ditchfield, guys. So let's keep Jeff Ditchfield in our memories today, and let's remember him, you know, in blazing up and in all our activism and campaigning going forward as well, because he did a lot of work before, but we've the torch now passed to us, and we'll continue, and we've to carry it in honor of that guy, you know. So let's do it. Who said that there? Actually, I just seen the comment tell Facebook, your local representative verified. Hype. Hype, let me know how you do that. I'll have to look that up. I've not looked at that, actually. I should do the same over on Twitter, I suppose. Look for that, like, blue tick. It makes me a bit more official, doesn't it? Like, if I get that blue tick, like, I'll say, hey, no, I'm a political candidate. I'm verified. I've ran, and I will continue to run, so verify me. That's me. Don't let nobody else rip me off, because apparently that's going on over in Crown. Over in Crown, there was people apparently making up fake pages and saying that they were me when clearly they weren't me. So yes. See lots of comments coming in there. Nice one, guys. 100k going to watch the Project Storm docu later on. Nice. Yeah, it's a good documentary. It really is. It's very eye-opening. I believe it's through the Project Storm documentary as well. They expose the some of the con artists. There was a few people in particular that got exposed in it, and then they picked up hate campaigns against Jeff Ditchfield afterwards. Even up until only recently, like I seen only about a month or so ago, even within the last month, Jeff was posting there that one of these people again had set up another hate page against them. Were posting kind of foul stuff against them. So, you know, it's a shame when people kind of take the time to do that, but there's always people out there, you know, they're jealous that you know, the people ain't looking at them. Set up fake pages trying to discredit people. Not good. Time for home, guys. Hopefully you had a good day. R420. Catch you later. Guys, don't forget, use the code word Martin's World in the checkout box of r420.ie, and you get 20% off. Code word active over there at the moment. So, yes, that's not a paid sponsorship or anything like that, guys. Just doing it because we have to look after everyone out there in the community. And Kev is a big supporter of the community as well, so I want to see his business do well. So get over there and support him, and he's looking after the listeners of the show with 20% off. So Martin's World is the code word to use in the checkout box. Hype says I'm taking an overdue break, but next one in his honor. Nice one, Hype. Good stuff. Nice one. Enjoy that tea break. Podge85 says, I'm going ahead and make some dinner, so stay safe and see you Wednesday, guys. Catch you later, Podge. We'll be signing off here shortly anyway. Just going through the last few comments. We catch you Friday. Hunter K says, have a great one, Podge. Chilbert says, laters, Podge, stay high. And yes, all the guys saying goodbye to Podge. Casa de Strogas as well says, enjoy, man. Barry Fields says, F Reddit, jump onto Percy's. Exactly. No, you have to utilize all of these platforms. You know, some people just, you know, that's where you're going to reach them. Don't waste too much time over there, but it is a good spot to get over for Irish kind of stoner content, I suppose, in some light. Casa de Stroga says, that's bad form about the Reddit impersonators, but when you are on the way up, you always piss someone off. Yeah, I've definitely pissed a few people off in my time anyway, but it wasn't intentional, you know. It was just kind of, you know, spearheading a campaign, you know. Some people just get offended by that. Hype says, yeah, nearly every subreddit, it's the same old shite, politics and religion. And Podge85 hitting code word Martin's World. Yes. That's over on r420.ie. Buddha says, just noticed your sub count, Martin. Massive increase since I first found you. That in itself is very positive and hopeful. Nice one for that, Buddha. Appreciate that. It's been a while. Yeah, it's like, what are we at now? We're just over the year. So in just over the year, that's what we've managed to achieve. And I'm quite happy with that. Like, you know, it was a slow rise, but we got there. I believe the YouTube page, like that wasn't really getting populated until like about a year ago. I think I subscribed there to the multi-streaming platform, and then I got like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch going at the same time, and that really helped. And with just getting out there further, I do think that YouTube, even right now, you know, we've 29 via YouTube, 4 on Facebook, 2 on Twitch, but it's still worthwhile to be multi-streaming, just hitting the other platforms. Just in case any one of them decides to go down, it's just kind of, well, alarm bells should go off and say, hey, back everything up there before they all go down. Something's going wrong. But think, you know, touch wood again. We nothing has gone wrong today. I've not had any shows being pulled for any incredible like violations of any kind. Like, you know, like my protesting on here has not been any much of an issue, or any issue at all. So we'll continue to fucking do so. Nearly 1900, yeah, almost there. Barry Field says meta, din din din. I'm just looking at a few more comments there before we sign off. Casa de Struga says, the next few Wednesdays are off due to scheduling, I believe, Podge. Yeah, we're going to have next few Wednesdays off there for a bit just due to scheduling, but we'll get back on top of things there after the New Year's. Hunter K as well, hope everyone has a great evening. Great episode as always, Martin. Going to get ready to take the dog out for a walk. Nice. Yes, guys, I'll love you and leave you, and that's Hype saying. Hype says, didn't know there was a rule on Twitch that you can't stream elsewhere within 24 hours or something. Yeah, that's for the partnership, I think. Like there's certain like stages you can reach with Twitch. Like if you make an agreement and you're making money off your stream. I'm not making money off of the stream. I'm not trying to make money off of the stream over there. So I'm not really too interested in that. I haven't reached the affiliate level yet anyway. I need to get like I think like a minimum of 3 people, an average of 3 people watching the stream for like a minimum of 18 hours or something like that to get that partnership. Doesn't bother me. We'll keep streaming over there anyway because they leave my stream up for a month. So happy days. Right. Peace out, guys. Catch you all later. I see everybody saying goodnight in the comments box as well because we were just saying goodbye. But yes, peace out, guys. Have a nice week, and we will catch you back here on Friday. Do on Wednesday though, guys. Keep an eye out on Wednesday. I do have some plans there. The 1st of December, the final month of the year. So for anybody who is still out there listening, keep an eye out for Wednesday. There won't be a 420 news, but there might be a live stream. So just saying. Peace, guys. Much love. Keep it lit. Stay blessed. Stay safe as well, guys. 6-week warning as well. Don't forget that. That's 6-week warning. Checkpoints everywhere. Be wide. Bye-bye.